Well, I love this conversation because it's all about leading with purpose, not just leading for profit. And with this incredible panel of leaders today, I think we've got every category covered. Technology, innovation, retail, luxury, financial services, media. I could go on. And I'm really excited these individuals need no introduction, storied decades of incredible career. I wanna first say hi, Tory.
Hi.
Tory Burch.
Hi,
and I wanna congratulate you on the TIME100.
Thank you.
Naomi Watts wrote a tribute for you.
Thank you.
And I love what she said because you sincerely want women to succeed. And we need more women like you. So congratulations. And you're also recognized for the work that you do with your foundation. Hans, you've been a great mentor to me personally as a CEO. And I want to congratulate you on your remarkable career as a public CEO for nearly 14 years. That's incredible. Not only are you the chairman and CEO of Verizon, such a busy day job, but everything that you do with the World Economic Forum and the Edison Alliance to work on a critical issue that affects everything, which is digital inclusivity and equity. And it's just remarkable how much you give in that area. So congratulations, and personally, professionally, thank you. Thasunda, you've been amazing.
Yay.
You've been amazing, known as T. How great is that? Can I be J? You are an incredible CEO, 3 years in your position, but a huge career prior at JPMorgan Chase. Jamie Dimon wrote for you in Time. Congratulations on being one of the most important, influential people in the world right now. And what I love about your leadership is everything that you've done, obviously in financial services, but also in the communities that the companies that you've had an incredible legacy and honor to work with and work at, everything that you've done to make an impact. So, wow, what a panel. I won the lottery at the TIME100 Summit today. That's for sure. Okay, let's get right into it. I'm gonna ask Hans this first question. Can you talk a little bit about the economy and what's happening in the global world right now?
Oh, that's a long and difficult question. Now, first of all, we see, I think we all see that we're probably more wars in the world than we have since the Second World War. That's just bad. I mean, the polarization in our society is enormous, and of course that impacts economies over the world, supply chain, and we all know that hits usually the most vulnerable in our society. And that's, of course, extremely tough. Children and females and all of that, but also the ones that are the most low-income people. That's happening. Then on top of that, of course, we have had high interest rates for a long time. It takes some time here in the US where it really hits the consumers, but it will over time, and then inflation on that. So the environment of economy is actually fairly complex. Then we spend time on thinking of that all the time. We have 147 million consumers, basically, that consume our services every day. We don't see much of it. They consume equally much as before, almost. Our bad debts is the same. I think it's two things for me, working in technology. Mobility and broadband has become such a critical part in your life. I mean, you cannot work, you cannot connect with your friends, you cannot do your shopping. There's a lot of things you cannot do if you have it. So our product has moved up from probably being the 4th or 5th priority in life to be very close to number 2. Number 1 is, of course, food. There's a resilience in my business is just growing, and that's probably what I saw already 20 years ago when I realized that it shouldn't matter who you are and where you're born and where you come from. Being part of a society means also you need to be digitally included. So that's what I see. So the economy is one thing, how people are spending the money is a little bit different than what I'm doing is third. But the more worrisome is, of course, that we have more armed conflicts in the world than we had since the Second World War. I mean, and we're living in in a society where we should understand each other better, we should talk to each other, we should learn from better, we should be educated and understand there are differences, but we don't need to fight and have wars for that. So you're sad on one side, on the other side, there are progress in the world, and we just need as leaders that we understand we have a huge responsibility, not only seeing that our shareholders get all they need, we also have an enormous impact. I mean, I have hundreds of thousands of employees basically coming in every day and working for me. My responsibility to see that I have the positive influence of them, they have a job, they have growth, they can support their families. That becomes very important, at least that you can do what you really can impact on.
Tory, talk a little bit about being an entrepreneur, particularly being a female entrepreneur, and maybe share a little advice of what you would offer today versus what you've seen throughout your career.
We were just talking backstage, and when I think about the last 20 years, I said to my husband last night, I'm like, I can't believe I'm still standing. There's so many things that have happened that I could have never imagined. It is the most extraordinary profession, the most difficult, and the highs and lows are just, they teach you resilience, they teach you how to take things as they come. I think what you just said is really important. I take a responsibility. We have 5,000 employees to show up in a positive way and to be, to practice what I preach. And I think that being an entrepreneur today is, as I mentioned, whiplash, because with all of these things going on in the world, with all of the macro happening, you have to be super agile, you have to have conviction and a vision and not deviate from that, but also be able to move with the current. And that's something that I think is so important, is to obviously have a unique point of view and make your mark and do something that is answering a need, but also be able to move when you have to move in different directions. And we are a diversified company, and everything from supply chain to our where we are globally to, it's so important because it makes you more resilient, because when certain things happen in different places around the world, you have to be able to power through that and rise to the occasion and focus on the rest of the world and wait until that part gets better.
That's great. Thasunda, talk a little bit about your career, the incredible responsibility that you have, all of the stakeholders, and everything that you've done to solve for inequities in financial literacy and saving and retirement and building communities.
All of that, Jay? No, what's really great is that I get to live my purpose every day. My purpose is to inspire and make positive impact. And when we think about the importance of financial inclusion for everyone, that is the fight. And having an opportunity to lead a company like TIAA that exists to ensure that millions of Americans can have a secure retirement, it's personal. If I asked all of you, how many of you know someone that is not confident about their retirement, or have actually had to be the person to provide money to mom or dad or grandma to make sure that they're okay? The reality is 40% of all Americans will run out of money in retirement. The facts are women retire with 30% less. The reality is 54% of African Americans do not have enough to retire. 64% of Hispanics do not have access to a workplace plan. And what's even more staggering is that 41% of our young people between the ages of 25 and 35 are not saving and taking advantage of their workplace plan. And so we have to do better, and we know that we're living longer. And so when I think about this purpose and impact and what we can do, first it's to make sure that we're sharing the facts, but also recognizing that it's going to take all of us as individuals, but also public and policy, public and private sector working together. And so what can we do? First, we have to recognize we have a savings gap, $4 trillion savings gap. We are not saving enough. So what can we do? We can ensure that everyone is auto-enrolled in their workplace plan, and not being someone like my father who worked over 40 years at a company and did not contribute $1 to his 401k plan. That's because maybe he worked in the warehouse and scanned boxes, and the fancy material did not reach the man in the warehouse. So how do we as leaders make it easy for every employee to have access by auto-enrolling them? That will get us on the path of savings. But we also need auto-escalation because sometimes when we enroll, we can't afford the match. We can't afford the max. But auto-escalation can ensure that every year you add 1%, you add another percent until that employee can reach their max and get the full benefit. And if they need to take that reduction, that's fine, but the next year you enroll them again. That is how we get on a path of saving. We also have an access gap. 58 million Americans do not have access to a workplace plan. Many of them are small business owners. And so how do we make sure we can make it easier for small business owners to provide access to their employees to get a retirement plan like an IRA? We can do more and we can do better. And then lastly, we believe that there's a guarantee gap. We know the last time that we had high inflation, it was in the 70s. But the reality is that over 70% of Americans had access to a defined benefit plan. Now that number is 12%, and we know Social Security is not enough, and it was never designed to be all-encompassing. And so when we think about a guarantee gap, especially at a company like TIA, which is our purpose, we believe that in that workplace plan, we need to have lifetime income options. And so that the question people don't have to ask anymore is how long do you think you'll live? No one knows. I'll be 110, I am clear. But the real question is, will I have enough? And longevity risk is real as people are living longer. And so we have to make sure that our workplace plans and access can ensure that people can have confidence in retirement, and we're not transferring debt, we're transferring wealth, and we're transferring confidence that the next generation can be okay. So we have work to do, but as you can tell, this is personal, it's purpose, and it's something that we as all Americans have to get proximate to. It's not for when you're older, because it's impacting the people that are in that working age, feeling the pressure of taking care of mom and dad, but also taking care of their children and trying to be okay in their own life. So this is something that we're passionate about. It's something that I'm passionate about, and it's personal because I get to go to work every day thinking about an Otis Brown who did not take advantage of his 401k plan. And I get to think about my mother, who's a retired educator, given that we serve the higher ed market as well, and saying it is a fight and it's one that I'm committed to. And I'm inviting all of you to join me on what we can do better to make sure all Americans can have a secure retirement.
Thank you for sharing that story. And I listened to the word personal, which you said a few times. And that leads me to my question around leading with purpose. CEOs and leaders today, shocker, they're supposed to be people, human beings, not just CEOs. You've been leaders for decades. Can you just share how that's changed and how you've had to change in terms of leadership today versus years ago? Hans, start with you.
Yeah, quite a dramatic change. I think that when I became the CEO for a public company first time, 2009, information didn't travel that fast. Reaction could take weeks before you reacted on things happening around you. In today's society, if you wait 24 hours to have a response on things, that can be bad. Bad meaning people, customers that are expecting that you reach out. And you also, the other thing that I learned over the years, and that's of course, you also need to stay true to the purpose of the company. You can have opinions of a lot of things in today's society, I personally can have, but you need to stay true to what is important for your company, because I'm actually the biggest brand ambassador for Verizon. And I'm a spokesperson for Verizon. I'm not a spokesperson for Hans Vestberg. And I think that has changed quite dramatically, because at least for 2009, I can say a lot of things that I thought was important in our society, but probably didn't really connect with the company. Today, I take the fight when it comes to digital inclusion, equality, pay equity, diversity, things that are important for my company to succeed. That I will speak up, but I wouldn't speak up in any topic that wouldn't be relatable to our company. That has changed. And then also the different channels of communication. I think that sending a mail was okay to your all employees 2009. Now you probably need to stand up, speak yourself in front of them, take any question. So a lot of things have changed, how you communicate to all your stakeholders. That is the biggest change. You need to be more alert, you need to be more connected with your purpose, with the company nowadays than you were 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I started my company, the business plan was to start a foundation. So from day one, purpose was ingrained from the very beginning. So I think when you start with purpose and we create this paradigm for authentic brand purpose, certain things are expected of you. And in a way, we consider ourselves an activist brand. So when things happen all over and in real time, you have to have a point of view and comment. And I think that you have to be really careful in doing that because we have so many different kinds of employees, our customer is very diverse, and we have to really take our time. That said, we do have to stand for something. And I think that that is something we don't take lightly. It's a big responsibility. And we think a lot about everything we do and the purpose that comes, and we tie it in with our foundation. When you have purpose and the foundation that we have, which supports women entrepreneurs, that is so integral to every decision we make. And whether it's creating a safe environment where we work, and people feel like they can come to work, whether our customer is buying something and knows that it's a little bit more than just a handbag. All of these things are constantly in our thought process as we're facing the world in such chaos. And I think that that's something that I'm proud of, to take a stand, but it's very complex, but you have to do it in real time.
Yeah, I mean, just to build on that, I do think that it's important for leaders to be clear on your values, be clear on the diverse constituents that you serve, and be clear on the outcome that we're here to provide. But in order to do that, when we know that we're in a polarizing world, we know that we forgot the word and, it's either or. We know that there's so many different perspectives. I think as leaders, what we have to lean more into is the empathy, getting proximate, and making sure that when you are making that decision, that people can feel connected to it even when they don't agree. Because the reality is now, on any decision, all of your employees are not going to agree. On any decision, you may not have full alignment with the clients that you serve. And on any decision, you may be at odds with the broader market. But the most important thing that I think we have to make sure that we do not compromise as leaders is, did I hold space to understand your perspective? And do people believe that I listened? And if you believe that I listened, and if you believe that I'm committed to surrounding myself with diverse perspectives, then when we make that decision, we will be clear, we will be decisive, but you can say we may not always agree, but we can respect it and we understand it. And we know that if new information is at the table, we will be willing to listen again. And I think agility is absolutely key. Understanding technology is changing quickly, so you have to have agility in technology, but I also think we have to have agility in understanding the dynamic needs of the people that we serve and the people that we get the privilege to lead every single day. So that's what I think about, leadership today that maybe was not as pronounced in the past.
That's great. Thank you. We're almost out of time, but I am the CEO of Time, so I'm going to go 1 minute over to ask my last question, which is going to have to be quick answers. Don't say AI. We were supposed to cover that a little bit more thoroughly on this panel, but we'll get to it throughout the day. So other than AI, what are you most excited about this year? Tori, you go first.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm looking at the work we're doing at the foundation and how doing good is good for business. And how do we really take that further? Our foundation is different and our company is different because we are actually doing the work. So we're setting up the programming, we're working with partners like Bank of America, we're doing fellowship programs with our entrepreneurs. I want to think about impact and scale. And for me, I think it's great to be purpose-driven, but if you don't have impact and scale, it doesn't really matter. And that authenticity that is tied to that is critical. So I can't wait to expand that.
I have two things. First of all, I think the target of making 1 billion people digitally included over 5 years, which I took on 2021, I hope I will pass that this year already, together with many partners and countries all around the world. And that digital inclusion is actually digital education, healthcare, or financially. Not only to have a broadband and do some streaming service. That is a big goal for me this year, and that's what I'm looking forward to. But I'm also looking forward to New York Rangers, I have to say. I'm really excited with Madison Square Garden and Knicks this year, so hopefully it's going to be a great year for Madison Square Garden. Okay, that was two.
I wasn't expecting that.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to, yeah, that's
You
awesome.
got it. Saw that one.
I ditto both of those things. I'm excited about what they're excited about. I'm excited about this fight to make sure that more people can have a secure retirement. We're not just serving the 403B market, we're serving the 401k market to make sure that people have lifetime income options. So I'm excited about the fact that we're not done yet on this fight. I'm excited about this year ahead to see what my kids are going to do. They're super dope, and I'm so proud of them. And then lastly, I'm excited about women's sports. And I'm excited about the impact that women are making and demonstrating. Talent is created equally, opportunity is not, and the opportunity that women have earned to be able to show what we can do in sports is just one area, but I'm excited about the good trouble that we're going to continue to make in business and in every sector.
And women are a good investment.
Women are good investments.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that.
Well, great timing and a little plug for Time. Today we launched our cover with Coco Gauff. So, like, you know, we're running this big event, and I opened my email this morning, and I just see fire. I said, oh no, what's happening now?
Fire's good.
And it was from Chris Davis, the Chief Marketing Officer at New Balance, who then sent me the cover of Time and just said, fire, she's a New Balance athlete. So, go women. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.